So I decided to wash my kitchen runner. It's a cotton rag rug. Something happened and it became unwoven in this spot. I can see how it was woven. I see what they were doing with these threads, but I'm not sure if I have the bandwidth to figure this out. So I went down to my scrap collection in the basement and I found some pieces that I think might be large enough. I'm just going to lay them out to see what my options are. I do like this though, so maybe a combination thereof. All right, so I made it to Next.Fab, and this is the portion of the rug that I am going to repair. And I think my husband and I have decided on this particular patch, and because even the bottom sort of goes nicely. And what I'm going to do is I am going to baste it on top of the spot that is ruined, and then I am going to cut this part out, and then probably by hand I'll do some whip stitching or something to secure it into place. I'm just going to do a rough cut right there so that we can pin this in place and I can take it to the sewing machine. There. Ooh. All right. So now I'm going to go over to the machine. It looks like I have to switch out the thread color, sort of make this work. All right. All right, so I've got the piece sewn in where I want it to be sewn, and what I'm going to do is I am going to cut the ripped part out, and then when I get back at home I am going to blanket stitch it to clean up the end. And I'm also gonna trim this down too. I will blanket stitch on both sides, so I'll clean that up, the raw edges there. I will do a blanket stitch along that side, and then, all right, and then I'm going to chop all this. So we've got everything ready. And so what I will do when I'm back at home is I am going to blanket stitch this down. It's just neatened up, and then I will do the same on the other side. And it looks like my rug has a repair. So at this point, I am going to blanket stitch around the patch that I've put on the rug. I have a blue sashiko thread. It's 100% cotton, and I just thought the blue went nicely with what I have. I've got 2 needles that I'm using. I might try the curved needle if it gets a little bit difficult. Let's see. This is like an upholstery needle. But I also have a regular needle that I'm going to try first. It's a little bit sharp, but it's also thick. And so I am going to do the blanket stitch now. The purpose of blanket stitch is to reinforce the edge of thick fabrics. It's also used to finish raw edges, and that's why I've decided to use it here to finish the raw edge of that quilt, just so that it will not fray and the batting will not come loose. When I do blanket stitch on clothing or embroidery, I'm really neat about it. However, this is a kitchen rug, so my main concerns were keeping the quilt piece from fraying or keeping the batting from shifting. So I'm being less concerned about the neatness of the finished product. So that was a little bit harder than I expected it to be. It was difficult pushing and pulling the needle through the kitchen rug. And the quilt, because it's an older quilt and the cotton batting is really dense, it was really hard to get my needle through there. I think I needed either a sharper needle or maybe a thimble on my finger to make it go more easily. But I'm happy with the way it looks. It is a kitchen rug, so it doesn't have to be perfect, and I think it will serve its purpose and continue its long life. So there you have it, a patched up kitchen rug. It wasn't as easy as I thought it was going to be, but then it wasn't so tough either. So I encourage you that if you've got a small rug in your kitchen with a few holes, why not try to patch it up? If you enjoyed this content, hit the like and subscribe, and stay tuned for more.